we are opening an office here, so I will read it first. I'll read the statement first, and then we can ask any questions you may have. The Ministry of Commerce, Manufacturing, Business Development, Cooperatives, and Consumer Affairs will soon be opening a Southern division on the third floor of the Uptown Business Center on New Dock Road, Beaufort. This long-awaited move will improve public access to government services, allowing for the delivery of a more convenient and efficient service to clients in the south of the island and the environs. The expansion represents the ministry's continued commitment to supporting economic growth, building partnership, and ensuring businesses have the requisite resources to thrive in a dynamic global environment. By creating a dedicated Southern division, the ministry is advancing its responsiveness to the unique challenges faced by its clientele within the Southern region. Rest assured, small business owners and aspiring entrepreneurs will be afforded all of the business support and advisory services currently available at our Small Business Development Center in our main office. And those services include access to concessions, information, and training opportunities, assistance with the development of business plans and online business registration, and advice on financial planning, accessing capital, marketing, and regulatory compliance. Support will also be provided to large businesses, including the certifying of forms and the issuing of licenses to facilitate the clearance of goods. Consumers in the South will have the opportunity to quickly lodge complaints and report any irregularities in the pricing and quality of goods sold on the domestic market. With an officer dedicated to the Southern region, the Consumer Affairs Department will now have the ability to more closely and regularly monitor price control items, while seamlessly conducting investigations in the Southern region. Clients may also obtain basic information regarding the function and operation of the Department of Cooperatives. And that is very important, especially to our fishers and to our farmers. The meeting room of the new facility may also be utilized by registered business owners to facilitate business-related interviews, presentations, consultations, and meetings. So I think this is a first for us. We understand that some of those small businesses do not have a boardroom. So as a government, we are providing them with the opportunity to have a space where they can come together, meet, and so on. As an added incentive, the new office includes a spacious rooftop terrace, ideal for the hosting of business outreach initiatives. This move is an indication that the complaints of the parliamentary representative and business community in the South have not fallen on deaf ears. We are thrilled to increase our accessibility. This ensures that our clients receive tailored, localized support and guidance, thereby strengthening our connection to them. Hopefully, this will provide sufficient impetus for the resuscitation of the Southern Business Association. The Southern Division of the Ministry of Commerce is expected to be open on Wednesday, 26 February 2025.
Just one question for me. It seems like it has been one of the mandates of this administration to decentralize a lot of things and to at least give people, not just of the South, but of I guess, rural communities more opportunities. Is this part of this drive? And just speak to the importance of this. Why is it so important?
The first part of the question is yes. The philosophy of this government is that we need to work not only with our youth, but also with all small businesses to ensure that we give them the support and the handholding that is required so that they can move from one level to the next level. So that is part of that, because you know the ministry has an office in Castries, and persons from Vieux-Fort, from Soufrière, if they have any issues, if they have to interact with the Ministry of Commerce, they would have to travel to Castries. So it's over a year, almost 2 years since we've been working on trying to get this building together. So I'm very elated that finally we will be able to open this. But not only are we opening it, not only are we going to have staff from the Ministry of Commerce, we are going to have somebody there from Export St. Lucia, you know, the work that they're doing with the CMOS farmers down in that area, with small businesses getting ready, marketing, labeling, and so on. So they'll have a presence in the south. The St. Lucia Bureau of Standards, where we're talking about quality, we'll also have somebody there providing assistance in that area as it relates to standards. The cooperative department, where we deal with our farmers and our fishers in particular, we will have a presence there. So yes, it is this government, the government of the St. Lucia Labour Party, ensuring that the small man, the average St. Lucian, receive quality service.
Your ministry worked very closely with the Taiwanese ambassador, Peter Chen. Given that he has left and we have a new ambassador, do you believe that the connections will still be very strong? What do you foresee in the near future?
Oh, exactly that. You are correct. We had a very good relationship with Ambassador Chen. But in addition to that, I want to say we have a very good relationship with the government and people of Taiwan. And yes, we have a new ambassador. In fact, I am meeting her tomorrow at lunchtime to sit and to discuss the plans and how we can continue the good works that we've started.
Madam Minister, last week, Prime Minister indicated that you'll be heading a task force to see the concerns with the tariff that's been affected by the Americans.
By our friend, President Trump.
President Trump. Yeah. What can you tell us about this task force? Where are you all right now? Who are you all meeting? What can you say?
I just need to tell you, yes, that's correct. The Prime Minister has asked me to head a task force, but today is my official day back. So I will be speaking on that at subsequent press conferences.
Are you hoping to be inclusion of the private sector, public sector?
Yeah. They are affected, so they will be part of the grouping to sit down and to see how we can put solutions to the problem. Yeah.
How soon are you hoping to have a meeting and discuss?
As I said, today is my first official day back. We need to sit down, and when I leave here, we go to the cabinet, we'll agree on the members of the task force, and then we start our work.
On a separate note, we noticed last week that the government is applying subsidies on 100-pound LPG, as well as kerosene and bulk LPG. Who are these subsidies supposed to sort of protect or provide support to? And what do you make of a government deciding to expand the subsidy basket to include these additional petroleum products?
Well, as you know, as our government, our mantra is putting the people first. And this is linked also to the first issue in terms of tariff. It's the government looking at the impact of inflation and seeing how best we can assist all of St. Lucia. It's not just a little man. As that the tariff basket is expanded, we'll continue, even for the issue of just basic bread or flour, everybody's impacted. When it comes to our LPG, 22 pounds, the average home is impacted. When you look at the other persons using our roads, so all of St. Lucia is impacted. Families, businesses, large and small.
Those subsidies will be temporary, or is that something for the foreseeable future?
Well, I cannot say that it is temporary. As a government, we sit in cabinet, we see what is happening on the ground, and we make policy decisions. At the moment, we have taken these decisions. We are going to see what is happening on the ground, what is happening. A lot of what is happening is imported. The impact, the inflationary pressures, most of them are imported. We will continue. The comfort I need to give John Public is that as a government, we are continually watching what is happening, and with the data, when we get the data, we make decisions, always in the interest of the people.
And in the interest of the people, there are some concerns that we have a shortage of white sugar. What can you just tell us this, or what's happening?
Well, well, let me tell you what is happening to white sugar, brown sugar, and that is also linked to the whole issue of availability of shipment. The white sugar that we import, you might not know, but it is being used, a large percentage is being used by our manufacturers, the persons who manufacture goods and services. And because when the government imports white sugar, it imports it at a price that is a lot less than if individual manufacturers go and purchase or import themselves. Even when we give them an opportunity to import directly, they don't. They wait until the government imports it, because at that time the price is a lot lower because of the subsidies that we have. So when it comes in, most times the manufacturers takes it. And we need to ensure that that happens. We need to ensure that the factories and around us continue to run, because it's going to impact, if it is closed, it's going to impact the labor force. So John Public, when you go on the shelves to purchase your sugar, it's better to focus on the brown and leave the white for the manufacturers. Some information.
Well, that's different. The Regulatory Substance Authority?
Yeah, RSA.
RSA has a CEO and some staff. When or how soon will the board members be appointed? And what would the timeline be in terms of actually getting these substances commercially available in St. Lucia?
Oh, okay. Yes, you are correct. The RSA is up and running. We've appointed the CEO, we've appointed the corporate secretary. We're just about preparing what you call promo materials, public information to the public. We have the draft cannabis bill. We have the draft cannabis bill that is now open for public discussion. Based on the feedback that we receive, then we determine whether we need 1 or 2 months in terms of public conversation before we go to the parliament.
But it's the intention to make available commercially, or create the framework for commercial substances sales. That's the intention.
Yes, that's the intention. But I'm saying we have to put the structures in place and the legislation in place. And that's the draft legislation is now available for public conversation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any more questions? I need to say something about my roads.
Oh, yeah.
About my demo, when the drivers were putting pressure on me, everybody was putting pressure on me.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm back. The roads, we have a contractor, CIE, and I guess some of you would have seen some of the coverage. So I'm very pleased with the progress so far. And again, that is the government of St. Lucia, and we have a St. Lucian company presenting quality work. So we need to say thanks to that. And I need to thank the drivers and the patience that they have. We're doing the Fosheshak Road now. Later on, we will see how best we address the others. So that is that. Last week, we had 4 ships in the Soufre Harbor. You all had that story somewhere?
Yes, it was there somewhere.
Yeah,
It
but
was there
Minister,
somewhere.
you talk about the roads in Soufre, but what about the main road, the southern road, where there's a lot of complaints from the...
You mean the road from
The West Coast Road? Yes.
Yes, you have Namalco. I drove on it today. I could see, I was out for about a week and a half. I believe the challenge that you have now would be the rain. That's what would be the technical challenge now in terms of. But I know it's an area that we definitely would like to see. So we need to pray for some sun so that that part of the road, because it's not the easiest drive at the moment. So let's admit that, but we need to also recognize that the weather has some impact on it.
The minibus drivers' patients are running thin on the road. So
Well, they need to just pray a little more for some sun. Yeah, instead of complaining, just pray a little more. And, if all of us pray, then the Lord will hear us. So we need some sunshine.
Super residents seeing these vessels in the numbers.
Well, you saw the comments. Some persons say they've been in the industry for over 40 years and have never seen it before. And that's why I always say we have to be thankful. Sometimes the issue is we need a lot of patience. And sometimes I know our citizens sometimes are not patient, but I always put that together, that we have a government that recognize what we have to do to boost this economy. At the moment, tourism is the main driver, and I want to thank the Minister for Tourism and his team. I need to thank the team in Soufrière Regional Development Foundation, Prime Minister for the work to improve our ports. That is the other thing that is happening at the same time. So I'm happy. There are some things we need to improve on. So I'll sit with my colleagues and work on them. But I'm pleased that the average vendor, the average restaurant owner, the taxi drivers in Soufrière, they are seeing more businesses, more persons coming out. So we have to just ensure that we all work together to make the experience of the visitor the best that we can.
On the subject of improving, that stretch between when you're heading up the Soufrière Hill, like Bouton, going all the way down, no street lights there. It's been that way for a long, long time. Is there any intention to illuminate
Well,
that space?
it is good that you notice that. I know we've done, over 2 years ago, we did an audit of over 200 lamps we need, over 200. And we sent that to the chief electrical engineer, Mr. Jean, and continually we are having conversations as to how he can ease that pressure for us. Yeah. So I just want to, again, be patient, but we're working on it.
Do you
Yeah.
intend to contest in the next general election?
What do you think I should do? What do you think I should do?
I see your red frame, so
Yes.
interesting.
Communication. Yes, I've got a red frame. I'm ready. Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Good morning. Okay. I just want to start off by saying that there are certain situations that we should try our utmost best, government or opposition, not to politicize. And I speak on matters of healthcare, speak on matters of crime. And I think everyone in this room would remember that the ordeal that I would have gone through in 2021. Today is exactly 1 week shy. Today is the 10th, so today is exactly 7 days shy of my accident in 2021. So in 7 days it would be exactly 4 years since I suffered that accident. And truth be told, I understand that in politics people may want to fire a cheap shot here and there. But you can only understand and appreciate what I would have gone through if you go through it yourself. And my family to date have to live with this ordeal. I have to live with it every day. And I thank God for being able to give me the strength to muster through every day, get up and go and do what I have to do, irrespective of the restrictions to my mobility in certain instances. And I'm hoping that today is the last day that I will have to speak about this, especially in a public setting. I'm hoping that today is indeed the last day. But I felt it was important that I address some of the things that have been floating in the air. First, and I will run you through the sequence of events so that everybody can get an appreciation. When we would remember that we were in the period where there was COVID. And when I had my accident on Wednesday the 17th of February 2021, I was transported to the St. Jude's Hospital, and within an hour or so, I was transferred to the Tapio Hospital. From Tapio Hospital, spent 4 days, and on the 22nd, the Independence Day, a private ambulance took me from Tapio Hospital to VG, and then an ambulance took me from VG to La Martin in Martinique, where I left the hospital in Martinique on the 10th of March, to be exact. And about a month later, I returned home. I stayed in Martinique for well over a month. I was treated there, and I came back home somewhere in April, towards the end of April. During that time, when I got to Tapio, I have with me a receipt from Tapio to the tune of in excess of $70,000, and that expense was covered by my insurance, my personal insurance, Nagico insurance, and I made my co-payment. The ambulance that transported me from Tapio to VG, I have with me a receipt where Jeremiah Norbert would have paid for that ambulance. The air ambulance that took me from St. Lucia to Martinique, the fee was, I think, €5,400, or equivalent about a little over 17,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. My insurance again settled that bill along with my co-payment. In Martinique, my bill was in excess of €23,000, just a little over 92,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars. That bill as well was settled in part by my insurance, and to date, I can tell you that I, Jeremiah, is still paying part of that bill. So now you understand what happened from, and in the bill, my bill at that in Martinique, nowhere on the bill did I see minus 10,000 or minus any amount because somebody else made a payment. No. I got the bill in full. It's here. The insurance would have settled it. If you want to have a look at it, I have no issue in making you see what it is. And the balance was left for me to settle in my personal capacity. Thereafter, my prosthetic I'd have to get, I'd still have to do it through personal means. So I tell you that to tell you that my accident had placed not only emotional trauma, but also took a toll on me financially in terms of some of the expenses that I had to bear and I had to meet because of this accident. And the government of St. Lucia at the time would have to do anything that what they did was what they would have to do for any ordinary citizen of St. Lucia, which is during a period where there was COVID, so ensure that the protocols were met so that I could have left St. Lucia to go to Martinique. These are the facts that I have in this matter. And as I said, I really don't want to have to address this matter again because it's a personal matter for me and my family. And I have children, and these are the things I tell people that you have to be mindful of. And when these things go about in the air and your children ask you, because the conversation out there is, it was not said in direct terms, but we would have facilitated Jeremiah, and we made a helicopter available for him. And to make it seem that when I made a statement to say that I did not receive any assistance, especially financially, through the then government, to make it seem like I was saying something that was untrue, is the furthest from the truth. And I said whilst I was in Martinique, because they went further to say I spent a few months in Martinique, and whilst I was in Martinique, as if to imply that I was being, he didn't say directly, but if you look at the way the statement was made, it was made in a way to suggest that I spent a few months in Martinique and that my stay was facilitated by the then government. And truth be told, I don't know that this government currently or any government prior knows how I facilitated my medical bills. And as I would have told you today, I can admit to you that I'm still making payments towards part of my bill in Martinique. So to make it appear or to make it seem that I would have received some sort of assistance, especially when they speak about the helicopter. This thing says, I think, IWIA, Hassan Ambulance Castries for the first 5,400 euro. Yeah? So that is the FF for the. And then you'd see here, says Najiko, Jeremiah Norbert, it gives everything, emergency service, emergency ambulance, $17,694.50 paid by my insurance, my personal insurance at the time. So these, as it relates to any other thing in this particular matter, in terms of me getting any sort of, and I think my emphasis was on me receiving any sort of assistance at the time. But as I said, we have chosen to play political football with a situation that had nothing to do with me in the first place. And if we remember the genesis of this thing came from, this was first said at a town hall meeting in Bellevue on, I think 2 Sundays ago, yeah, and then repeated via talk show, called a talk show, and it was repeated and said more or less, reiterating the fact that I received some assistance from the government. And as I said, if I received any assistance, is what they would do for every other person in terms of ensuring, because of the COVID protocols at the time, that you would have been given permission to be able to leave St. Lucia and to go to Martinique. That is, from what I know and from what I have before me, that is as far. And I would say, I don't know if a commitment to pay means that you pay. So because I can promise everybody in this room here, I am going to give you something, that doesn't necessarily mean that I gave you anything. So we have to be very, very mindful with what any of us can commit to anything, as to what do we do after we make the commitments, whether we fulfill these commitments, that is us. But from my own recollection, I would have given you the sequence of events that happened from point A to point B and to my return to St. Lucia, and the expenses that I would have incurred over the time, and how these expenses were settled. So you can get a better appreciation for what would have happened and why I made the particular statement that I made.
Okay, so if you can then say that the government, or at the time, may have facilitated your transfer, as you said, I guess allowing the I guess open space for them to fly over, right? Not financially, in other words, in paying your air that's the help. If any help was given, at least it would have been that.
Yeah, and that is what the government would be mandated to do for any ordinary citizen at the time. You understand? That is what the government would be required to do for anybody who was living the state who found it was not any special circumstances where I received anything special for Jeremiah. No, but the government, the only way you could have left the state at the time was you had to go through certain protocols, and the government was the ones who facilitated the protocols in terms of giving you the space and the clearance for you to be able to live.
So can you confirm the conversation through those messages that you've sent, the text messages between, supposedly between the current PM and the former PM, and that can you confirm whether they are true or not?
Well, I am not the Prime Minister, so I cannot tell you. I am not Philip JP, I cannot tell you. All I can tell you is if indeed the conversation, if indeed there is any sort of truth to the conversation between the two individuals at the time, there is nothing wrong in the Prime Minister, and if you have a private conversation, there is nothing wrong in any of them having conversations about what assistance could have been given to me, but is what followed the conversation. And it also speaks volumes about us being so careful, because if that is the route that we are going to take to what we call to leak out a conversation to deal with something, and the truth is, and I've said to you all again, what was the sequence of events in terms of how everything was financed and how my expenses were settled. Most of it was done through my personal insurance. But if that is the case, and I think I made it very clear at the town hall meeting on Tuesday last week, where I said that even in my capacity as parliamentary representative, at the cabinet meeting we sit and we get requests every Monday for persons who require some sort of medical assistance and who may not be able to meet the cost of the medical assistance, and we approve the assistance to them. And even my constituents, when they get the medical assistance, the only people who know about the assistance that I give to my constituents are the recipients of the assistance. And that is because I value the dignity of the men and women whom I represent. I value it. So under no circumstance, not now, not 10 years later, not 50 years later, will I come back and reproach somebody, even if I help them in truth, will I come back and reproach anybody or repeat to other people that I would have given anybody any sort of assistance, especially medically, understanding that the reason the person came to you in the first place is because probably at the time they were unable to meet the cost. And we provide assistance every day to individuals, and you would never know who the recipients are. The way you know is sometimes when you pass, they say, "Minister, thank you so much for the help you give me." Nobody knows what they speak about. And then you say, "You're welcome," and you carry on smartly.
On his talk show, the Minister for Housing made some comments that some might see as insensitive about Dominic Fede, alluding to a possibility that he has certain disabilities, whether it be dwarfism, he said, and, well, I think he said autism as well. As a Minister for Persons with Disabilities, any comment on that?
Okay, so first I will tell you, I did not hear the comments, and so I cannot speak about the veracity of what it is that you're saying. However, I've always taken up a position where I denounce any kind of fun making about disability, and disability is a very sensitive issue. So it doesn't matter who it is, including myself. I take full responsibility for the things that I say and the things that I do. And no way, no day will I ever promote or agree with any individual, no matter who the person is. I'm not even going to think of who made the comment. It doesn't matter if it is the Honorable Prime Minister. It doesn't matter if it's the leader of, it doesn't matter who it is. It's just that the position is that we never ridicule any individual, especially if we believe they have a disability. And we never even try to use disability terminology to make a mockery of absolutely anybody in this country. This has been my position, the position of my ministry. I stand by it. And if anybody makes such a comment, I think they should be able to come and say, now, there are some comments that we just don't make and we have to denounce it, and that is my position on that matter.
Beautiful. I'm also aware that there was some case involving, I hate to bring it up again, but involving the accident. You could correct me if I'm wrong, I was told that the motorcycle was unlicensed, that type of thing. Is that true at all? And just shed some light on that.
So that's a matter that was before the court, has been dealt with before the courts, and anything in light of that situation, there's an extract of judgment that anybody has access to. So that is public knowledge as to what has happened. Some of these things, I think, so if you just dig just a little deeper, you realize that you sitting here have access to everything that would have happened. So anybody can go and they would know exactly what transpired.
Okay, so Minister, last week Prime Minister Philip J. indicated that you will be heading a special task force in relation to the deportees and everything. What can you tell us about it and where you are with that right now?
Okay, so the announcement was made last week. Prime Minister would have given certain instructions to me as the Minister for Home Affairs and Crime Prevention. What we started doing is started bringing in some individuals to see how we can prepare the terms of reference. So we would have individuals more or less mapping out who do we need to serve on the task force. So we figure that we need the Department of External Affairs, we would need the social agencies, we need the police and immigration. So we just put in the team together. Hopefully, sometime during the course of this week, we'll be able to have our first meeting to see how we can come up with the terms of reference for the particular task force. And probably after that, I'll be able to shed a little more light with you as to how we progress in terms of the matters that we have to deal with.
He did indicate that they had about 8 people down for deportee that was in the pipeline already. Where is that, and do you know the status of those people?
No, I'm not in a position to be able to give you a proper update as to the status of these individuals today.
And also now you're open to meet your committee and...
Yeah, well, I would have said to you a few minutes ago that the idea is so sometime during the course of towards the end of this week, we can bring everybody together and start to drop the terms of reference for the task force.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.